No, I was in a church. I pastored a church in Townsville, and Deb and I had come home for holidays. And whilst we were home for holidays, one of our other gentlemen was looking after the service, and he got stuck into a bunch of parents because their kids were making noise. And this gentleman was a little bit older, a little bit hard of hearing, and he got stuck into them. When I came back, I nearly killed him. Because I said to him, I would far rather have a church full of screaming children than none. And the problem is, if your attitude is everybody's got to be quiet in church, then oftentimes that excludes parents with little kids. So that's not something that we here at Grace believe. No. Now, what was that? The cheap seats are talking to people. What? Hey, I said I posted, some of you probably wouldn't have noticed, but on our Grace Care page, I posted up this morning that you better come to church today because we've got a surprise for you. I'm not making an announcement about the community. I'm not making an announcement about funding that we've received or anything like that. This surprise today is just to bless you. I'm not preaching. Oh, that's... Hey, we're going to be clap. Right, you can all leave the church now. I'm not preaching. We are going to be going out and enjoying an extended morning tea, which we have spent some serious dollars on providing for you this morning. Now, the reason for that is because I know how busy you are. I hear it all the time. And life just seems to be getting busier and busier. And the opportunity to connect with each other just seems to, it just gets squeezed out because you've got life, you've got your work, you've got your family, you've got all of these commitments, and for a lot of people, they get home at the end of the day and the last thing they want to do is go out to a meeting or do anything. They just kind of like dead and they just want to go to bed or watch some Netflix or do something like that. But most people really struggle to make time to connect. And at the end of last year, I was thinking about this whole connection thing for our church. And one of the things that we never want to get to is we don't want to become a church that so programs everything that you just don't have any life whatsoever. So we've gone the opposite direction. We've made it as easy as we possibly can because the church is only here to support you and what you do during the week. The church is not, or the church gatherings are not here to be your primary focus. Because if church gatherings become your primary focus, then guess what suffers? The community, your family, the people that you're supposed to be being Jesus to. That's what suffers. So we've gone the other direction and we've tried to make things as relaxed as we possibly can with regards to gatherings. And to be quite honest, I have not had a single person. Now other people have talked about it, I've heard, but I have not had a single person come to me and say, Dermot, we just aren't gathering enough. We need more meetings. Can you put some more meetings on? Because we just want to come to meetings. I don't have people coming and asking me that question. However, I'm not stupid, contrary to what some of you might think. I'm not dumb, and I realise that sometimes we need a reason to gather and to gather together for the good stuff. Because actually, gathering together with your brothers and sisters in Jesus is actually good for your soul. It's good for your heart. And when you're going through rough times, if you've made friendships, they're the ones that you'll call on. And it's difficult to make friends if you don't actually spend time with people. So, with all that in my head at the end of last year, I was thinking, well, how can we do it? How can we encourage gatherings? How can we encourage connections? And we will be calling for expressions of interest this week for anyone who would like to open up their home or open up a particular sport or activity that they do that they think other people might want to join with them doing. So we'll be calling for that. And there are other groups that are currently running in our church that are actually happening, but we'll be asking if there are people who want to do that. And then we'll be making those available for people, especially for those who are just new to our church or who don't know too many people. We'll be making those available so that you can start to connect and build those friendships, build those bridges with other Christians. As I said, it's good together. But when thinking about, when do we get people together? Naturally, I thought Sunday mornings. Well, Sunday mornings we get people together, they come to church. That's a really good time to force them to spend time with each other. and just get to know each other. And one of the things, I mean, if we said, okay, we're going to do a speed dating thing, you're going to go around and spend 5 seconds with every person and get to know them all, some of you would just die on the inside and you go, there's no way in the world I'm going to do that. I'm one of those people. I find that really confronting. I always enjoy it after I've done it. I hate it before I do it, and I whinge and complain before I do it. But the one thing that I find that makes the getting to know each other easier is if I have some food in my hand and a cuppa. So if I've got food, I'm eating food, I've got something to occupy myself, that makes it a little bit easier to start talking to people and getting to know them. Another thing that's really good, so we're going to do that this morning. We've got lovely food that's all been prepared, even now as I'm speaking. Out in the foyer, we're going to set up tables and chairs outside. Thank you, Jesus, the rain has stopped. We've got tables and chairs outside, tables and chairs inside, so you're going to be able to grab some food, sit down at a table with a bunch of people and just chat to your heart's content. So that's happening. Can I say, please...
Can I just clarify, there's a bit of murmuring, you don't actually do speed dating?
The last time I did speed dating, I got to the first girl and I married her. So, it worked. Oh, it's just an analogy, honey. Can I encourage you too this morning, if you're one of those people that finds it really difficult to get to know people, and I'm going to get back to our morning tea in just a second before I release you, but if you're a person that just, I want to get to know people at Grace, but I'm just kind of like, I just find it hard to talk, can I encourage you to join a team? Now, this isn't a plug to get you to do work that nobody else wants to do, all right? When I was a brand new Christian, they said, if you've got a call of God in your life, then you need to clean the toilets and stack the chairs, because that really proves the call of God in your life. No, that just proves that something has to be done, and they wanted to get you to do it, and so they were using some spiritual manipulation to get you to do it. That's not why I'm saying to you to join. I mean, yes, there are jobs that have to be done every time we gather together. That's why we have serving teams. But it's also a really good way for you to talk to people without that awkward thing where you walk up to somebody who you don't know and start the conversation. If you're doing a task together, it's really... The shyest people in our church, and I'm not going to point you out because that would kill you right now, are on teams here at Grace. And because they're on teams, they have a reason to talk to people and people have a reason to talk back to them. And it just knocks that thing out of the park for them. It helps them. So if you are finding it difficult to connect in any type of group that you're a part of, just volunteer to help. If you volunteer to help and you're given a task, it gives you something to do, so you don't feel like, I'm not going to tell you what you don't feel like. You don't feel just like a spare person, a single person at a wedding, that type of thing. So volunteer. Join one of our teams. Speak to one of our pastors. Sue's not here this morning because she couldn't be bothered to come to church. Is that right? No. Brent's looking straight ahead. I'm not saying no. No, actually, Sue heads up. Sue, listen, if a single female in this church tells Sue what I just said then, you're excommunicated from our church, because some of you women, when I crack some really funny jokes in our church and my wife's not here, she hears about it. She's not even on Facebook. So people tell her. So I know. So Sue is actually an absolute gem, an absolute blessing to our church. She heads up our serving teams. She's not here today because she's got another commitment. That was more important than church. I couldn't help myself. No, I love her. We all love her. But she's the person to speak to. Robert, don't say anything about your sister. She's the person you need to speak to, because she is just a gem, and she'll get you involved in one of our serving teams doing something. So can I encourage you to do that? All right, so here's how we're going to do this morning. We're going to get up out of our seats, we're going to walk outside, we're going to grab some food, and we're going to sit down at a table. Now, can I encourage you, if you see somebody who looks a little bit lost, don't just go to your normal group of people. And you hate this, don't you? When you're at a seminar and they say, don't go to people you know that you came with. Go and find somebody you don't know, and you're thinking, dear God, I don't know anybody here, I don't want to talk to them. But listen to me. You are Christian, first and foremostly. Christians are meant to love their neighbour as themselves. Do you know the one thing that you're going to get judged on by Jesus is how well you were a disciple? And what do disciples do? Disciples obey the commands of Jesus. Jesus gave us 2 commands. Love God with everything you've got. And the second one, love your neighbour as yourself. Or as he says in John, he says, love others as I have loved you. Can you imagine if Jesus was in a room and you were all alone and he looked over and he saw you and then he turned his back and continued talking to other people? How that would make you feel. So don't do that today. If you see somebody by themselves, grab them, drag them over to your table, sit them down with you and your group. Don't just simply go to the same group. And if there are people that you haven't caught up with for a while, go and chat with them. You're all looking at me very seriously now. You brought in the Jesus bit, so that's making it difficult right now. Listen, we're going to go out, we're going to have some fun, but let's not have anybody sitting by themselves. Let's grab everybody in together. It is now 10 to 11. We don't normally finish morning tea till 11:45. So, you've got plenty of time to catch up with people, have some fun. The Grace Kids will be coming back. So at what time do we... Oh, I can't remember. In 20 minutes. So Grace Kids will be coming back. So we're giving you a bit of time just to enjoy morning tea without Grace Kids, but then Grace Kids are coming back, so parents need to sign them back in, and then you're responsible for them not destroying the food table, okay? Sounds good? Let's all head outside.